How you feeling, Kalo?
I'm feeling really, really good,
Feeling
man.
good?
Blessed to be still in this business, man.
I heard that.
Yes, sir.
So you're originally from Louisiana.
Originally from Louisiana to the Fillmore District, San Francisco, and then to Richmond.
Okay, and then to Richmond.
Yeah.
What area in Louisiana are you?
Well,
From?
everybody know Baton Rouge.
Okay,
Baton Rouge, I'm from a small town called Port Allen, right outside of Baton Rouge,
okay.
Louisiana.
Port Allen.
It's kind of like from the distance from Richmond to Vallejo over the bridge.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where my family house is, where my mom grew up. One of 26 kids.
One of 26.
One of 26, man. Yeah.
Wow.
That's where I got my studio name from. My mom's name is Lucinda.
Lucinda.
And then, of course, my name is Kenny.
Okay.
So I took the K and the L because I had my studio in my mom's garage. So that's where that K Lou come from. Yeah.
Nice. So what was it like growing up for you?
The times was perfect growing up. I grew up in the projects, San Francisco West Side projects, where I learned how to play every sport. From there, we moved to Richmond, and then high school in Richmond. I went to Richmond High School. I was into sports. Didn't even think about music at the time. I was basketball, football, I was quarterback. I always was a leader. So I was a shooting guard in basketball, where I was MVP. And I lasted maybe 1-2 years playing football. I didn't like how they used to rough me up, man. Our line was terrible, so I used to get tackled, faced in the mud. So I said, I can't do this no more. So I just stuck to basketball in high school.
Okay, and that was at Richmond High.
Richmond High School, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So from Louisiana, around what time did you move to California?
It was in the 70s.
In the 70s.
It was in the 70s, yeah.
And
yeah.
how old were you then?
Blah, blah, blah.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take it back for a second. So,
I was young. I was young.
okay, so let's get into music. So, you met Master P in Louisiana in what, 88, 89, something
Well,
like that?
my music goes before Master P. Let's go back a little bit.
Let's go back.
When I realized I couldn't make it playing basketball, I blew my knee out. I'm not saying I was going to be in the NBA. I blew my knee out, and I was downtown Richmond. It used to be Kaiser Hospital. And I was going for some rehab, and I was early for my appointment. And I walked down on McDonald Street. A lot of people don't know about back then. You used to have a lot of pawn shops, a lot of Woolworth store. So I'm just walking down the street, and I walk past this pawn shop, and I see this bass hanging in the window. Don't ask me why. What something drew me to this bass guitar. I went inside, and I wanted to buy this bass guitar. There, you could put something on layaway. So I decided to put this bass guitar on layaway. I was paying $5 a month, a week. I forgot what it was, and I got it out. I taught myself bass. And one of my dear friends, Eric E.Q. Young, who was in a group called Radiance, was a top group at the time in the Bay Area. And this guy was real nice on bass. And he sold me an amp. And from there, I taught myself. I thought I was good enough to join bands, but the bands at the time, this is when you had to know how to play instruments, because when you go to a club, DJs wasn't spinning on records. It was a band playing the music. And that's the music scene. And I tried to join a few bands and never got chosen. So I decided to start my own group. I called it Serious Business. And where I was the leader, being a leader of a band, you have to know everybody's part. So I started learning how to play piano, guitar, drums. That's how I learned everything. To be a leader of the band, to let everybody know if they playing the wrong thing, you're playing that wrong. You put the change here. This one was like learning all the Earth, Wind, and Fire songs, Kool in the Gang. Who else was big at the time? And then from there, I started a group called Kajamin with my dear friend Tim McClure. It was just me and him, and we had a backup band with some other members in the band. Ricky Alexander was a sax player. He's doing real good right now. His brother Wee on drums. My brother Squirk, his name is Curtis. He was lead vocal and sometimes drum. Emmett Hunter played keyboards. And we performed around the Bay Area a lot. And we got recognitions from a manager. Her name was Mavis Management. And she got us a deal with Macola Records out of L.A. And a lot of people don't know Macola Records. They did the first NWA stuff. Tony was signed to them. It was a small independent company. And from there, made a little bit of money. So I decided to put my money back into myself, invest in myself, and I got a studio. I got some recording equipment. And the recording equipment came from Japan. I had a dear friend that was in the Coast Guard. So you buy things from Japan back then, it was a lot cheaper. So I got a reel-to-reel, 4-track reel-to-reel, a 2-track master deck, and a 8-track mixer. And I taught myself how to record because the studio at the time in Richmond was called Starlight. Everybody used to record there. Sheila E., Frankie Bailey Mays, Tony. But the hours at the time were $150 an hour. A lot of you got young people don't know back then, shoot, at minimum wage was $2.50, $3 an hour. $150 an hour for studio time was a lot. So the only thing we can afford, or I can afford, because I was paying for studio time, was $75 an hour graveyard, 11 to 7 in the morning. So we came up with this song, It Ain't Over, got signed to Macola, and started my own studio.
Wow. So,
I know I was rambling.
No, it's okay. It's good. That's good information. So before you met P, this is pretty much how you got into the game. You were a musician in the Bay Area. You were making, you were a bass guitar player.
Yep, that was my main instrument. Even though I played everything, and bass was my main instrument. Yes.
Okay.
Bass and lead vocals, believe it or not.
Lead vocals, huh?
I sung lead vocals on our song. When you sing all the time, you can do it. And I did it because our lead singer at the time just didn't work out, so couldn't find a lead singer that could do the song, so I did it. I was a lead singer on our records. And during that time, man, we got a lot of airplay. It was K-Soul and KDIA. They would have a lot of Bay Area events. We would be there on stage. I remember one time we performed for the governor, Jerry Brown, and we were sitting at the same table with Confunction, who was another group that I idolized at the time, which was way better than us. And it's a funny story because at one of these events, they bring out new talent, right? And we were sitting at the table. They said, we're going to bring out this guy right now, and he going to do a song for you. So this guy come out. He had a white tuxedo on with a red cummerbund. He came out dancing, right? I said, man, what is this? This ain't going to go nowhere. He dancing like that? He was just dancing, a little bit of rap, It was MC Hammer. It was like, wow, man. It was something new. That's why I was like, what is this? And everybody know what happened to MC Hammer. He blew up after signing with Capitol. But go back to my story, we did a lot of Bay Area events. We had a little name for ourselves. And that's how I started in the music business.